Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. In this video, we're going to cover two topics that actually come up a lot. The first is going to be about renting a car in Switzerland. If you like to drive, this question has likely come through your mind. We're going to start with a walkthrough of the airport and the Hertz rental location, and we're going to show you how to pick up your rental car and answer all of the frequently asked questions about that topic. Then, once you have your rental car, we're going to go through 5 things you need to know about driving in Switzerland because it's a little bit different likely than your home country. So let's get into it. So Louis is about to take it away in the airport. He's at the airport now, ready to pick up his Hertz rental car. Before we get into this video, I wanted to let you know that if you are booking with Hertz, we have a 10% off booking code. It is on the screen and in the description. I know a lot of you prefer to rent cars, and renting cars in Switzerland can be a great option, particularly if you're going to some lesser visited areas, if you're doing a road trip, if you're traveling with children, or if you have a bigger family, renting a car can be a great option for you. So just wanted to let you know that before we get into the video. So first things first, a lot of questions we get are about the types of vehicles that are offered in Switzerland or in Europe. So good news is, if you're renting from Hertz like we are, there are over 120 different types of cars in their fleet, ranging from the much larger SUV or 4x4 type cars all the way down to the more small sedan type cars, depending on what you're interested or what you prefer to drive based on the type of traveler or trip you're taking. So you have a full availability of car types and sizes here as well. And this might be more specific for my American friends, that there are plenty of automatic cars offered here as well. I only know how to drive automatic cars. Sometimes I see a lot of questions. There's only manual cars in Europe. I heard Europeans only drive manual cars. Well, Europeans generally prefer to drive manual cars. There are, of course, automatic cars available to rent. And last but not least, there is a large amount of electric vehicles if that is something that you prefer or are considering. So the next question we get asked a lot that is important about renting a car is crossing country borders. Switzerland is a landlocked country with all country borders, so you might be driving from Switzerland into France or Italy or Germany or Austria or Liechtenstein. If you're going to any of these countries, you are able to drive your Hertz rental car across the border, and you're even able to pick it up in one country and leave it in another country. This is something that comes up a lot, specifically if you want to pick it up in Zurich and drive it and leave it in Milan. That is something you can do. There is a small surcharge that applies, but it is an option to pick it up in one country and leave it in another country, which I think is the benefit of renting from a larger international chain. The next tip is about car seats. First things first, I want to suggest that you rent your car seat directly in the country you're traveling to. Specifically, if you're traveling from North America to Europe or the reverse, there are different governing boards that certify the car seat. So the car seat that you have purchased in North America is not going to be valid for use in Europe and vice versa. The good news is that Hertz has 4 different car seat types, ranging from the infant car seat just to the booster for older kids. So you can select the one that works best for you. We have them here on the screen. They're cleaned after every use, and I think they're really reasonable to fee. So I just recommend renting it when you get here. It's one less thing to carry. So the last question that I get a lot is about my license. Is it valid in Switzerland to pick up a rental car? Do we need anything additional? And the good news is that if your license has been held for over 1 year, and if it is in either one of Switzerland's main national languages or English, you don't need the international driver's permit. And I know that most licenses also have English on them in addition to your country's national language. So that's good news for most travelers that you could just have your license. I've rented with just an American license in Switzerland and I've had no problem. So you don't need any extra documentation unless your license does not have one of those languages listed on them.
All right, so now we are actually going to pick up our Hertz rental car at the airport. I'll show you the way from when you arrive at the airport to the rental car agency to the car itself. This is very seamless, easy, it's well indicated, so let's go pick up our car. So you'll arrive here at the airport and then the rental car is actually right there, and we're going to show you how to rent a car and how seamless it is in Switzerland. So we arrive at the airport and we're just close to the arrival part to the rental car. It's really well signed in the airport, and then we have rented a car with Hertz and we'll show you how easy it is to rent a car in Switzerland. So let's go.
Check-in at the rental car location was a breeze. We've rented in both Geneva and Zurich airports, and the experience is virtually the same regardless of where you land. You'll be asked to show your license, review and sign all details of your rental agreement, pay for the deposit. The employee behind the counter will give you some information on driving in Switzerland and what you need to know about your vehicle, and then you'll be on your way. If you want an even faster experience at the airport, if you are part of Hertz Gold Plus reward member program, check-in will be even faster and you'll be eligible for free upgrades too. After we finished up in the airport terminal, we headed out to the parking lot to the cars. You'll walk through the vehicle with an employee to sign off on the condition, making sure that there are no bumps, scratches, or anything like this before you head off. We rented a brand new Alfa Romeo Stelvio, which is one of their premium offering, and we were so excited to hit the road. In classic Swiss efficiency, the entire process from start to finish took less than 20 minutes.
So we rented the car. This was super easy actually and really friendly. We have also a brand new car. They told me it had only 500 kilometers, so almost nothing. So they have between 3 and 6 months, which is great also to drive some new cars. We're going to try this one. It's an Alfa Romeo Stelvio. We're going to take the car and go explore in Switzerland. All right, let's go.
So now that you've picked up your rental car, you're almost ready to hit the beautiful mountain passes and amazing scenic roads in Switzerland. But before we do, we're going to cover 5 very different and unique things that you need to know before driving around in Switzerland. The first thing that is unique about driving in Switzerland is the vignette. That is a little sticker, or it could be digitally applied to your license plate. It costs 40 francs a year, and that are your tolls through all of Switzerland. Switzerland is a little bit unique that there aren't individual toll roads on highways or on bridges and most tunnels, things like that. You just have that one flat fee and you're covered. The good news is if you're renting at Hertz or other rental locations in Switzerland, this will automatically be applied to your car before you rent. But if you're driving from somewhere else in Europe, a personal car, or if you're renting from another country, make sure you have that roadway vignette before entering Switzerland. You can buy it online or at different locations at the border crossings. The next tip in Switzerland is about gas, but there's a few tips wrapped up into this one, so pay attention to this tip. First things first, gas is very expensive in Switzerland, probably quite a bit more expensive than your home country and more expensive than you're used to. That being said, electric vehicles do work very well here. There are chargers available all over the country in most parking lots at all train stations. So if you want an electric vehicle, the good news is Hertz has a huge fleet of electric vehicles available. So that's something that you can avoid the rest of this tip entirely. If you do have a standard vehicle that needs gasoline or a hybrid vehicle where you're going to be filling up at the pump, something I want to tell you, because it's a mistake that I made myself, is that you don't pay at the pump in Switzerland. You might be looking for a place to swipe your credit card before you start filling up the pump. That is not the case here. That is not how it works. You're going to fill it up with gasoline first, and then you're going to walk into the gas station and you pay after the fact. So a little bit different. I just see people kind of looking to wave their credit card around outside, and it's just not the case here. The next tip in Switzerland is about parking. You're going to see one of these in your rental car, and you might be wondering what it's for. It is a simple clock where you can move around the time, and you just put it in your windshield and you leave what time you left the car. This is something that you'll need to leave on the road. When there's meters, you'll see a little icon that I'll have on the screen that indicates that you need to use this, but now you know what this is for in your rental car.
So across Switzerland, the parking rules are generally indicated by the colored lines on the street. If you see white lines, that indicates paid parking. There's often parking meters or pay and display machines. If you see the blue lines or blue zones, that typically allows for free parking for a limited time, usually 1 or 2 hours depending on where you are. That's where you'll indicate the time with that parking desk that I showed you earlier in this clip and leave it in your windshield. If you see the yellow lines on the street, typically that means it's not for you. It typically is reserved for specific individuals or handicap spaces, things like that. Those are ones that are restricted to specific individuals. So generally, if you see yellow ones, you can ignore them.
So the next section of this video are speed limits. And I want to encourage you to pay attention because speed tickets are very expensive in Switzerland. You're not just looking out for police officers. That's generally not where you're getting speed tickets from, but there are cameras and radars all over the place in Switzerland. Believe me, I know. So make sure to pay attention to this section. First things first is that Switzerland has national speed limits on road type, so the speed limits generally are the same all across the country unless indicated otherwise. If you're driving on a highway or expressway, the speed limit is 120 kilometers per hour. If you're driving on a main road outside of an urban area, the speed limit is 80 kilometers per hour. And if you're driving in more urban or populated areas, the speed limit is 50 kilometers per hour. If it's outside of one of these road types, generally the speed limit will be indicated otherwise. So for example, if you are on a highway and there is some construction, and maybe that speed limit comes down to 100 kilometers per hour for a segment, that will let you know that it is no longer 120 and it is now 100. This part is a little bit of a particularity with Switzerland, is that when that 100 kilometer per hour section is finished, it won't then say 120 kilometers per hour on the road. There will be a sign with an X through it, which means that that restricted speed limit section is over and now the federal speed limit applies again. That's just something to look out for. You might have wondered, when did this become 120 again? I didn't see that written on the road. There's just a sign with an X, and that's how you know it goes back to the regular federal speed limits. And the last tip here might be the most unique one, and I know that because I've lived in Switzerland for 5 years and I still sometimes almost forget this, and that is Switzerland's right priority rule. You could be driving on a road if there is an unmarked intersection, if there's not a stop sign, if it's not a traffic circle, there is right priority. So if someone is coming from your right, even if you feel like you're on the more main road, they will have the right of way. So you might get caught up where you feel like someone should be stopping, but it's really you that needs to stop. You'll often see this indicated on the floor with the little kind of dotted line. I'll have a picture of that on the screen, but just know if the intersection is not otherwise marked, if there's not a stop sign, if there's not a traffic circle, the person coming from the right does have priority in the road. So you just need to be watching for traffic coming from your right in Switzerland. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope this information was helpful and alleviated any anxiety you have about either renting a car or driving in Switzerland more broadly. If you are interested in booking with Hertz, there is the 10% off code on the screen. Switzerland is an expensive country, so I know that any little savings can help. But again, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys. Hey guys, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
If you want to see more videos like this, please make sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you soon.